Hello world, welcome to my channel, Proteus Augustus. I'm an artist, scientist, and American Constitutionist. And I also love to cook. You know, if you want to be healthy and you want to take care of yourself, you have to take control of your diet. You have to listen to your body and you have to understand what your body wants. If you're not feeling well after you eat or something, there's a reason for it. Anyways, today's the day before Thanksgiving, and I figured I'd show people how I cook my Thanksgiving fare. So I'll put out a couple of videos. I'm going to start right now with I'm making the croutons for my stuffing. Okay, so this is one of my doughs. I'm going to be making some croutons out of it. The thing about making your own dough, you save a lot more money, and you can always beat it down to get the air out. You can, allow as much air in as you want, and you can get the consistency of the bread you want. And it's much cheaper and more economical. It's not hard to do. You don't need a bread machine, although it's going to take an effort to beat the dough, all right? I'm not going to lie to you. You got to beat the dough for a little bit amount of time. But anyways, so I'm going to make another set of croutons today for my stuffing tomorrow. And this is some of the croutons I already made. These are garlic croutons. So these are ready to go. I'm going to do one more batch and put it right in that bird, right? And there's some more doughs down there, right, that I can make other things with. So I have the oven set at 350. I'm going to put the dough in for, about 15 minutes. And then take it out and cube it up, and I'll pick it up from there. So I got the bread out. Look at how nice this pan is. Look at that. Just slides around, didn't have to grease it or nothing. Well seasoned pan. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow it to cool on this multitasker. This is just a, what you call you can use it as a strainer. It's actually to steam vegetables in. There's no sense in buying extra stuff if I could put my dough right on here to cool, right? So that's what I use. I'll cool the dough on here, and then I'll get to cutting it up and explaining what I did with the sizing. So while my dough is cooling, for my croutons, I have to eat too, right? So I figured I'd just put in, a little clip about me making my pizza. Basically, I make just one type of dough, all right? It's good to beat down to get a thin pizza. You can make it a little thicker if you want, if you let it rise a little bit more. But I beat it down for pizza. In the scenario here with the croutons, I'll explain shortly how I have a crouton size that is smaller and thinner, right, and more compact. And then the croutons that I'm going to be cutting up here shortly, it's thicker because I just want to get a little bit more of a fluffiness into the crouton to accept more fluid. And the smaller crouton size will give it a little bit more thicker consistency. And I'll get into that when I actually make the stuffing tomorrow. But for now, I'm going to have to make a pizza for myself because I'm hungry. So, since I'm going to make a pizza, I have a smaller one here. Right, the one that I have in the back there, that's going to be for buns or sandwich bread. This is another one that could go either way. So I make different sizes based on you know what I want to use it for. And as long as you put enough yeast in where you don't want it to really rise, right? This has been in the fridge overnight. You can see it didn't really rise a lot, but there's still a lot of air in there. You see how it comes out in the bag, right? So then, you know, I will just release that, right? If I could, with one hand, which I can, if I could just get my finger on it really quickly. Apparently, here we go. I think I'm getting it. There we go. Okay. So, you can let the air out. I can pound it down here a little bit. My pan is still hot from the croutons. Turn the oven up to 400, but I will be doing my pizza at 5. I'm going to set up my mise en place now. I'm going to get the dough into the pan and ready to receive the ingredients for the pizza. So these are the ingredients for my pizza. The pan was a little warm, but that should be fine. I got the dough stretched out. I have 2 different sized mushrooms. I like to dress it up and then use this to fill in, and also the ham. This is really good cheese. I mean, this is really good cheese. All right, now I usually use some mozzarella also, but I don't have that at the moment. It seems like the shelves are having a hard time packing things, you know, or getting them on the shelves, or whatever you want to call it, stocking. But this is good cheese, right? So I'm just going with the straight, extra sharp cheddar, and this is my base tomato sauce. This is good for pizza because it'll dilute itself, right? But what I do is I make a basic tomato stock sauce. That's what it's a sauce, but I call it a stock because I can use it to thicken things. I can also add other ingredients to make, let's say, macaroni and other things. So this is my base sauce. I'm not going to tell anybody how I made it, but it's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble the pizza, and I'll show you what it's like before I put it in. And I'm going to put the oven to 500 now because that's the temperature for the pizza. Okay, so now I got the pizza assembled. I like to put the full slice of the mushroom, and then I use the smaller cube pieces of mushroom to fill it in. And then so one important point to know, and this goes for all kinds of cooking. That's why some people aren't successful, because they think it's just a recipe, but you have to understand the thermodynamics on how these ingredients cook together and how the flavors meld together, right? Now, it can be a scientific approach or a trial and error, empirically, it doesn't matter. But one suggestion that I make is that the thickness of the dough is very important about how much ingredients you put on. So after you stretch out the dough, if you want it real thin, sometimes the dough has a little bit too much air in it. So if I want to make a thick pizza like this, the dough is just going to be a little thicker, just a little thicker. And then I'll have to let it set, and then I'll be able to consume it. So that's how the pizza looks right now. And you don't really need a stone unless you want to make a bigger pizza. This cast iron pan I use for baking. I use for everything, basically. For roasting, you know, bigger items, obviously I can't use it, but the iron will put the temperature evenly across the whole pizza, just as well as a stone would. And you can make a bigger, a thicker, or a thinner, or, you know, if you want, you can pack the edges and then it gets crispy, like some of those stick pan pizzas if you want. Anyway, so the oven's at 500. I'll put it in there. Usually takes about 15 minutes, but I wait until the top is getting a little crispy and it's boiling, and also that the dough is browned very well. So into the oven it goes. Okay, so now I have my bigger croutons. You can see these are much bigger. They're more airy. And some people might think that this is, you know, the kind of crouton you want. When these dry up, I'm going to leave them out. I'm going to have to take them up off the rest of my pizza, but I'll take them back out of the bag and then I'll let them dry further. And then I'll season them with garlic. Right now, if you look at these, you can see these are much more compact. They're not as airy. These are all ready to go. They're seasoned with the garlic, and it's much tighter. So what happens here is these are actually going to absorb more fluid. Okay, they're going to absorb more flavor, right? And then it'll give it a much more thicker consistency than these would, all right? So when I cook my stuffing tomorrow, what I'll do is I'll cook. Oh, and that's the other thing, right? This business about cooking the stuffing outside of the turkey and all that nonsense. Listen, you could do that, right? But I prefer to cook stuffing in the turkey and whatever. If I have anything left over, it's always good to have extra stuffing. I love stuffing, right? So if I have anything left over, that's fine. But the bottom line is I cook the stuffing to temperature before I put it into the bird. Now, I don't fully cook the stuffing, but I'll bring the stuffing up to a pretty good simmer. A very, well, I never measured it, but I know these things. I mean, through experience, you learn these things, but you could actually take the temperature, right, when you put it in the bird. But I make the stuffing so I could almost eat it, right? That's how far I cook it. And then I'll stuff the bird. So you don't have to rely on the stuffing cooking inside the bird. The stuffing will allow moisture to flow in between the stuffing and the breast meat and the rest of the chicken. And the turkey juices, only so much will be absorbed because the stuffing will have all the flavor I want. So, but there's an exchange, okay, of chemicals there that you taste, right? And the oil from the chicken will get in to the stuffing, and the flavors from the stuffing will try to enhance the moisture of the turkey. Now, the flavor of the turkey is what it is, right? I'm not going to stuff the turkey with all kinds of herbs just to make the meat taste differently because I'm pretty minimalistic. I like to taste the animal. I don't like to flavor my animal more than is necessary to make it pleasant. I like to taste the actual flesh. That's just the kind of food I like to eat. So anyways, that's what I have my croutons ready. I'm going to put these in a bag. I'm going to season them with garlic. That's the other thing. Every time you season something, you have to know that that's going to carry over into what you're doing. So now that I'm seasoning this with the garlic, I have to watch how much garlic I actually put in it, and that requires tasting. And the more you do this, you get the feel for how much you really need to use, right? So sometimes recipes are good, but they might not be the actual flavor that you want. So that's the thing about, as a retired chemist, I love about cooking, because cooking is like chemistry. And the more you know about chemistry, the better cook you can be. Not that you can't be a good cook without understanding the chemistry behind these things. But it helps you understand how the fluids are absorbed and how you meld these things together. That's enough for now. But anyways, that's it for today. I'll have my stuffing croutons ready to be cooked tomorrow. And then I'll show you the pizza when it comes out of the oven. So I just took the pizza out. And, when you just have the cheddar, it does look a little darker. But what you want is to make sure that the cheese bubbles, right? So that it gives you that different texture. A lot of people don't cook the pizza at a high enough temperature to get all the ingredients to meld in together, and the cheese is what keeps everything together. So I'm going to put my croutons in a bag. I'm going to put this on the cutting board, let it cool down, and I'll show you the final product, and that'll be it for today. So there you have it. I gotta eat now. But there's the pizza. That's the bottom. It's very good, right? Well, I don't want to make you jealous by eating that in front of you. So tomorrow I will be doing another video on my cooking of the turkey. I don't see any point in showing the sides and all that. The only side I'm going to show is the stuffing, how I make the stuffing, and how I dress the bird. So until next time, think free and be free.